The main reason why we met, it is a follow-up meeting to the African Development Bank annual general meeting, which was done in May, and also the shareholders meeting, which was done Africa 50 in July. And part of the discussions that were covered revolved around infrastructure financing. And as you might be aware, infrastructure and utilities development is one of the critical pillars of the National Development Strategy 1. And for us as Zimbabwe, in terms of the projection that we have for the National Development Strategy 1, 2021 up to 2025, our funding requirements for infrastructure covering all the sectors of the economy and all the 14 priority areas is amounting to around 40 billion US dollars. But having looked at our financing options and the physical space that we have, we are constrained in that area. So having consulted Africa 50 and Zimbabwe as one of the shareholders to Africa 50, we then discussed innovative financing options. And one of the options is on asset recycling. So Africa 50 is here for us to discuss that option, and we have discussed quite a number of ways that we can use that financing option to finance our projects. And the project that we are looking at is those projects that are in the ICT sector, especially the ones on fiber optics. And the development of fiber is in line again with the National Development Strategy 1, where digital economy is a priority area. And we are also looking at energy development and also infrastructure development, especially on airports. For airports, we are looking at Robert Mugabe International Airport, Victoria Falls International Airport, handling facilities, and these are some of the areas. But obviously for us, we have managed to come up with quite a compendium of projects. But what we are looking at now is to prioritize the areas and then come up with the low-hanging fruits. But on the part of Africa 50, we are also looking at them and holding us, especially with regards to the identification of projects and also how best we can identify specific projects that we think are bankable, viable, and as I've already alluded to, the low-hanging fruits. So I would say, in a nutshell, this is why we are here, and it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Minister. I think just to add to what the Honourable Minister said, as Africa 50, as an infrastructure investment platform, of which we have 29 African countries as shareholders, of which Zimbabwe is a key shareholder for us, we're here to support our country shareholders. We're here to support our country shareholders as they look to drive economic growth, as they look to create jobs within the countries. And as everybody knows, infrastructure is fundamental to economic growth and development. So really, the way we look at it, and as everybody knows, there's a significant funding gap on the continent overall. As the Honourable Minister has also said, lots of our countries are currently constrained from a fiscal perspective. So it's really around how we as Africa 50 support in identifying and developing bankable projects, in crowding in the public sector and private sector, in ensuring that we can execute on this. And it's through various innovative financing models that we use, be it asset recycling, triple P models that we look to deploy. And we work with technical partners, strategic partners, together with governments to make sure that we can execute on this. So key sectors that we talked about, as the Honourable Minister said, is in ICT. So how do we ensure digital access to the citizens of Zimbabwe? Power is foundational to any economy if we're looking to industrialize. transport and logistics. I think everybody's very well aware of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And so as a signatory to that, how do we support Zimbabwe in exploiting and capitalizing on a much larger market? So it was a very comprehensive conversation and insightful conversation. As Honorable Minister said, it was a shopping list of projects that we discussed, but it's really around filtering down and seeing which ones we can execute on as short a period as possible. And I think the key thing for us is getting success and getting to the end of delivering a viable project as soon as possible. Seeing with climate change the impact that certain fossil fuels are having on our economies. So renewable energy, and that includes solar and hydropower. We're keen to exploit gas-to-power projects on the continent as a whole. We've spoken about a few specific projects in the country, but it's really around exploring where the opportunities are and how we partner to develop these projects.